Good evening.
Hi, Lizzie. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Now I can.
Excellent.
It's like a blank screen, but I
Oh,
understand. But it's, if anyone wants to turn the camera on, they're most welcome. Can you tell me, can you see that on your screen, the blue
yep, I can.
camera? Perfect. Thank you. I'll just wait for a few minutes. Hopefully we get a few more people.
Here you go. Hello.
Thank you. It's a little bit easier to talk to a person than a screen, but hey, I do it all the time. So, whereabouts are you from, Shelley?
We are in Whangarei and part of Kamo Pony Club branch. Yeah.
Excellent. There's a few more
Yeah.
people coming in now.
How many of these have you done, Lizzie?
This is the first of the area ones.
Oh, great. We're the pilot.
You are the pilot, so you'll have to bear with me. 3 of the other constitution ones, but of the introduction ones, but been living this for a little while, and
Yeah, I bet.
just good to to actually look just at you guys, and it is open to other people to join, but our whole focus and discussion is on Northland.
Mhm.
Which unfortunately I don't have a huge experience with. I've been to Barge Park once for dressage.
Excellent. You were based in the South Island, though, yeah?
No, I'm in Tauranga, just out of Tauranga, so not too bad. So yeah, but we came for dressage once because I was chasing qualification, as you do.
The
Hi,
schlep.
Kelly. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Amanda. And Catherine, Vicky, Anne, Linda, Heather. Jess. Excellent. So Kelly here is from our board, and she is just joined along tonight. She's from the South Island.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, how are you?
So
Good.
from the top of the country to the bottom country, and I'll just be kind of top half.
On the top.
You're the top, are you, Joanne?
On the
Whereabouts
top,
are you?
I will know it. You can't get much further north than me.
Yeah. Whereabouts is that?
It's about 8 k's north of Kaitaia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm coming up your way very soon for the Bay of Islands.
And I think we're older than Bay of Islands too.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
You're coming to the 75th, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I'll be there.
Because Hiratonga is where it all started.
Yeah, and Monganui is number 2.
And we're 84. Next year is our 85th. So that is on the, how are we going to celebrate being 85? Oh. But anyway, thanks everyone for joining. So just a nice little small group. So just so you know, I'm Lizzie. I'm the CEO of New Zealand Pony Club based in Tauranga. And joining me tonight, we've got Kelly.
Hey everyone, how are you going?
So Kelly is one of our board members. So what Kelly is actually, and I were the brainchild behind this. And we just wanted to focus on your areas. And of course, it's open to everyone so you can just see what's doing. But tonight we're focusing just on Northland, but the information is the same countrywide. So you are our first, your trial, so bear with us a little bit. Have you got any questions before we get started? So I know we've got one guest joining us. I just saw it pop up in the chat, and you're welcome to put things in the chat as well and ask questions. It is being recorded. So Anne's from Tahuni in Wellington, Wairarapa. Brilliant. So as you know, we've done 3 series so far, and in those 3 series, as of today, we had 229 participants, unique participants, and that made up 129 of our clubs or branches. From Northland, in that introduction series, we had 5 of the 11 clubs and branches represented. So not too bad, 45%. And the focus of tonight is just to go a little bit deeper and to get your real questions and answer those for you. We really want to push with you though that this is consultation. As a board, oh, Kelly's on the board, I'm not. We definitely wanted to put the suggestion out on the table and suggest change and do it with our membership, not to our membership. So this is only a consultation phase, and it's really important that if we are not on the right track and it's not a change that people want to look at, that we get that feedback by the end of May, so then we can go, okay, it's not the change that people wanted to make. We'll stick with what we've currently got. We'll present a constitution based on what we've currently got, and we'll vote on that at the AGM. But the whole purpose of tonight is just to share that process, recap the proposed constitution, and actually get to the nitty-gritty of what Northland could look like under a structural change.
I'll just jump in there too, Lizzie. It did this change in structure, or the merger of layers, has come up often with members. It's not like something that has just been proposed just from nothing from the board. It has actually come from feedback from quite a number of members throughout the years. But this was a good opportunity because we had to relook at the whole constitution anyway to be compliant with the Act. And so that's why it's come up now.
Thanks, Kelly. So as Kelly said, the rationale of tonight's meeting is we understand it's been quite abstract. So we actually wanted to get down to it to show you how it could work in process, because we know it could be really difficult for you to vote on something that feels so conceptual. So I know tonight that you'll probably bring up questions like day-to-day operations, and we're here to answer those decision makings. A big one is event coordination. And while I know that you all know that the Constitution and events are separate, and in our Constitution it doesn't even talk about events, you do worry about that because the structure of what we're proposing is a change. And also communication and how we support our members. So that will come up tonight, plus any other questions that you may have. Okay, I'll move on. So I guess before we get started, all the background information is on the website if you haven't seen it, if you haven't been there, but we'll just do a little quick recap. But our biggest thing here is our timeline. And so we're in May, consultation with areas and our regions and our focus webinars. And so we're doing this for the month of May. And we need your feedback. So at the end of tonight, there is an exit survey. We'd love you to do it. It's not compulsory. You don't have to put your name on it. You do have to put your area. And we want to have that so we can go, what is the feedback telling us for that 5th of June board meeting? because that is the one where we'll take the feedback and go, hey guys, yep, let's go ahead and go with this proposed structural change, which equals the constitutional change, or no. Just a little side, I found out today, confirmed, that the last proposed roadshow that they did in New Zealand Pony Club, and some of you were probably there, I was down at a branch level, so I don't remember it at all, was in 2010 and 11, when you still had a committee of management and their constitutions came in, and it was a huge structural rechange. It went from a committee of management to a board. And also then they discussed getting rid of a layer, and it was proposed to be the club layer. And the two ladies, Anne Atkins and Nikki Williams, went around the countryside and decided not to continue with it because it was just a concept that was not taken well at the time. So that's the 5th of June. If we go forward, can I just get that person just to mute? Sorry. If no matter what, in July, the board will give us the finalised constitution for, I'll just mute that person. The board will give us the finalised constitution to vote for the NZPCA AGM, and that will either be the draft that we've currently got with some changes, with a structural change, or if it's decided not to change, it will go back to be a traditional area club without branches, club without branches, and branch constitution. And that would give you enough time to look at that, because that constitution, because of the incorporated changes, Kelly said, needs to be voted on the 3rd of August at the NZPCA AGM. Kelly, did you want to jump in any with those 3 parts, or any questions on those 3 parts there?
Yeah, obviously time is going to be tight. Just obviously remembering that we are volunteers. So some of us have got 2 full-time jobs, obviously. So it's going to be, yeah, a real push to get that. So that's why it's really important to get your feedback like now or before that meeting in June, so that we can actually, whatever the feedback, get a constitution drafted.
Can I just ask one question? The current constitution, what needs to be done to it to make it compliant with 2022 legislation?
Oh, so much. There's no, you can't even do a marked change on it from the template that Sports NZ has given us to what we've currently got. It's not even just a track change documents. The big things, and Kelly's got the legalities more than I have, because I haven't really looked at those. I think it goes from needing 8 adults to 10 is number 1.
Yeah. So there's also changes in terms of the structure that's been in terms of officers and their liabilities that we would need to change in our constitution. We obviously would need to change the disputes resolution regardless of what happens. There's another thing, a couple of other things there around borrowing powers and things like that.
It's definitely doable. So if in the 5th of June from these webinars we get a overwhelming vote that we know that people do not want this structural change, that we will be able to get on the 5th of June to the 1st of July a national constitution change.
Okay, that was my concern. If
we can do it.
Yeah, that's all right. That's fine, because I've got an accounting background, and we've just changed all our incorporated societies into the Tier 4 setup.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Monganui will be in that format going. The financial reporting was what my concern was as well.
Yeah, so we will be able to do it, but that's why the 5th of June is, we need to know as the board need to know as the organisation, the membership with us on this structural change or not. So that will be the board's decision to go, yes, we'll carry on and do a constitution with the structural 2-layer, 3-layer of an organisation, or we'll go 4 layers for the organisation and work through that. So no matter what, on the 3rd of August, there'll be a constitution in front of us. The issue being, if we get to the 3rd of August and we give you a structural constitution, we give you a constitution based on something you don't want, because we haven't got the feedback, then we get into trouble.
Yeah, I'm just worried about the timeline. I thought this should have probably started, not always up to play, because like most people, I'm busy, I work full time, but I would have thought getting the constitution legal first and then look about restructure second, instead of doing it all at once. It's a bit much for some people sometimes.
We started as soon as we got the templates from Sports NZ. So we
back in 2002.
No, we got them in October last year from Sports NZ.
Yeah, well, actually, the legislation has been out and about longer than that. That's what my concern is. Yeah,
we had to wait for Sports NZ. We're a national sports organisation, so we follow their directive.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So anyway, we know that's there until 3rd of August is tight, but we have worked through our timeline, and we can get everyone through before the 5th of April 2026 timeline.
So that was just my concern, so that's fine.
Being based on either the 3-tier or a 4-tier organisation. So we can definitely work with that. As you see there, if we do a constitutional change, a layer change in September, that is where we will be discussing what do your actual layers look like. So tonight's a pre-discussion, so you can start thinking and go, yeah, I actually understand this. I get this 3 layers instead of 4 layers, and there'd be support from NZPCA. Then we've got all the steps in October to March. And when would the changes actually happen? It's when your club constitution and an intermediate layer, sorry, I'm going to change that word cluster, because that's been a sticking point, intermediate layer. The support would happen in that period of October to March next year, with support from NZPCA. So that is basically the timeline that we have been working with as a board and head office, because I'm head office, I'm not the board. Okay. So as Kelly said before, do you want to do this page, Kelly?
Okay. Yeah, I can do this page. Yeah, like I said earlier, this was an opportunity for us. The constitution had to be changed. Yeah. And we'd taken feedback from members, from past members, well, not past members, but members in the past, and still even current members. Like, we often get about layer changes and mergers, being talked about. Yeah. So we thought that the constitution, we want to future-proof our organisation. We want to make it easier for volunteers to deliver what they do currently. We don't want them tied up in administration. The governing, so basically the constitution is a governing document which actually does allow this for our entire organisation. It does talk about our powers and our purposes of New Zealand Pony Club, and basically what we do and why we do it. It outlines membership, and within that it obviously covers voting. It isn't the rules and regulations of our organisation. It's not going to give you event regulations, but they are going to sit alongside our general regs. Are going to sit alongside our constitution. Our constitution is a guiding document, and then a general regs will sit alongside that. This national constitution is important because obviously a lot of our funding comes from Sport New Zealand and other organisations. Therefore, it's got to obviously meet their requirements as well. The area and the club and the branch's constitution will be different to this one, but they obviously will be all aligned as such.
Yeah.
So yeah, and obviously it's up for discussion. It's all out on the table.
So I know you want to get to the nitty-gritty parts of it and what it looks like for your areas. So currently New Zealand Pony Club has 4 layers. We've got the New Zealand Pony Club head office, we've got your areas, which Northland is, and then we've got 2 layers side by side, the clubs and the clubs without branches. And of course, with under clubs, we have the branches here. So it depends where you are. And I know in Northland yourself, you have some of you have only got the 3 layers, just like over here, like in Te Poki, the Bay of Plenty. Te Poki just goes to Bay of Plenty and then NZPCA, or where from Kelly is from in Clyde. Clyde is a branch of Central Otago Club, of part of Otago Southland of New Zealand Pony Club. So Kelly, as a mum, could sit on, she could sit on the branch committee, plus the club committee, plus the area committee, and lucky Kelly, she can also sit on the New Zealand Pony Club board committee. So that is part of the purpose, as Kelly said, is that volunteer structure. And we really want to focus on where the kids spends their time. So here is New Zealand Pony Club. As you can see, this is a picture that's in the general regulations, right up here, you guys, and then you can see that it's been set in these areas for many years. Some of you might remember in the earlier years, Gisborne and Wairoa was over in this little corner of the Hawke's Bay, and then they merged into Hawke's Bay years and years ago. So we've got 15 areas spread right across. And one of the big questions that we get from people all the time is, do we have enough areas? Are the areas the right areas? Are some of them too big? Should they split up? So that's also up for discussion as part of this. Yeah. So when we're working on this tonight, these are really important questions. So will your club lose your identity? We're saying no, that clubs are encouraged to retain names, uniforms and traditions. We're not proposing any radical changes. Is this about closing clubs or reducing events? No, it's not about, it's about focusing on the club where the rider spends the majority of their pony club journey, and our aims to support and support with consistency. But saying that, we have got clubs, and you'll see it soon, that we know are not going to be able to continue in the next constitution, and are actually already not constitutionally operating at the moment. So as part of this journey, yes, there will be clubs that if they're small or aren't able to operate constitutionally, that will need to close. A big one that we're getting is what will happen with your assets. In no time will any of your assets be leaving your area or your club unless your area disintegrates. They are not coming to New Zealand Pony Club. There's a little bit of a rumour out there that I'm going to take all your assets and I'm going to have an office. I don't need an office. I work from home. We're not going to have more staff. Your assets stay in your area. They are with you. So if there are mergers, currently, if there's a merge or a close down, it stays in your area. So I've got a club down here in the Bay of Plenty that's finally just closed. Their building burnt down, so they had a lot of money. All of their money has been distributed in the area. Because the registrar got involved, they actually wanted a little bit of their money to go to MGA games and some youth sports in the area, and that actually had to happen. I'm talking a large sum of money. So, but the majority of the money has stayed in Bay of Plenty and in those clubs. It does not any time come to New Zealand Pony Club. Will you be able to host camps and events? Absolutely. We don't imagine that your everyday running of your club and intermediate layer would change. So if you're doing events now, if you're doing camps now, by removing a layer, we don't imagine these would be affected hugely. You might have to think a little bit differently, but they could still continue. And also, this is consultation, and we're following a democratic process. Are there any bits in here before we move on that anyone wants to ask another question on from those points?
I was just also thinking about the events. You may even be able to bring in, like, I know we have Otago Southland camp or what have you, but we may even be able to extend that camp even further afield if we're going to like the intermediate trees, like intermediate trees type camp. It could even go further than just, there's nothing to stop us from doing that, is there, Lizzie?
No. Okay. I know you really want to start looking at your area. So as we move into your area, I need you guys to think about, are your area boundaries still what you need today? So I know right up there in the north, you can't go any further north. You're stuck, that's it. But are your boundaries to the south, are they the right boundaries? Is your club or branch youth focused and providing for the purpose of Pony Club? They are the questions. Does my branch or club have enough members to operate? And is my branch or club in the right area? Is it time to move to a different area? Now, I know that you've got boundaries with Waitemata Rodney, and I know there's even been a little bit of chatter from some of the Waitemata Rodney clubs that maybe they're in the wrong area, maybe, and it's the same at Northland and Franklin Thames Valley. A lot of the clubs are going, oh, are we actually closer to this place than we are here, especially now that we've got better roading systems, or we've got different better roading systems and things like that. Thanks, Kelly, for keeping an eye on the chat. I can't do two jobs at once.
Yeah, that's okay.
So we've got the purpose of Pony Club, and I know that you all know that the purpose of Pony Club is for education, is to promote Pony Club to our youth members, our safety of horses. You can go back and read that slide there later on. Please pop your hand up or stop me if you've got questions. So this is what we're getting into and we're proposing. So we'd have a national layer where the national body sets the visions, values and strategy for Pony Club across New Zealand. It's our job to ensure consistency and standards, oversee national competitions, international events, I should put in there too, manage our national partnerships, maintain the policies, frameworks, including safety education and the certification pathway. So the administrative layer is currently often what the area is doing with the club, and often the club is doing what the club and the branch are doing. So we see the administrative layer as being the governance and oversight. So it's the intermediary between the clubs and the national body, supporting the local implementation, facilitate the extension of riders beyond the club environment, including area champs, training camps and talent pathways, resource sharing, coordinating some funding applications and helping out, and those best practice forums, offering a platform for committee members to share the governance and operational knowledge to strengthen the club admin. And then we see, of course, at the club, this is where the foundation of the Riders Pony Club experience. So this is where the club spends most of their time. They go to rallies, they receive instruction, they work towards their certificate, they build their community, and this focuses on the regular rallies, coaching and developing safe and capable riders, volunteers and horses and coaches.
So what we currently call branches on this slide is called club.
Yep, I'm going to jump to that in a second.
Sorry, just clarifying. Yeah,
no, that's good. Yeah, so we're saying
way I read it.
Yep, no. So we're saying that instead of having, we want to call where the kid goes to Pony Club the club, because no one really goes, I'm off to my pony club, I'm off to my pony branch. And some of you, as you know, are a club because you have no one underneath you. So we just want to clarify that where you go to rally is your club. like a rugby club, football club. Yeah. And so now the big thing is to decide what the layers are above you. Great question.
So it's,
Oh, I'll go
no, it's
back.
yeah, just one question on that previous one.
I can't
In
go
there,
backwards.
your administrative layer, you didn't say anything in there about interclub events or, you know, organising the
Yeah, I
events
can.
that happen within the area with that.
Absolutely, that would be in that administrative layer, but there's also nothing stopping that being in the club layer. So Club A could organise it with Club B, C, D, E, F and G, but also it could go on that administrative layer. So I'll add that in because that's exactly right. As I said, you're the
Okay,
first
cool.
people, so we'll put inter-club events. Perfect. Thank you. I love this feedback, guys, because as I said, you guys are our first view. So currently this is you guys. So this is Northland area. And if you're wondering why some have got black around them, because they're the ones that came to, that we think, maybe I've got it wrong, that came to our, the webinars, the introductional webinars. So currently this is how you guys are made up, and you're actually an interesting structure because you've got NZPC at the top, Northland. You've got 2 clubs that have branches underneath them. The rest of them, Kiri, Bream Bay, Monganui and Silverpine, they are already clubs with nothing underneath them. So actually, if you look at Kiri, Bream Bay, Monganui and Silverpine, there's already 1, 2, 3 layers. So
what are the numbers in brackets? Sorry.
That's the numbers of members as in when I took them 2 weeks ago. So that's the current numbers of riding members, adult members, not technical members, don't count them in our numbers. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you can see the numbers there, and this is what goes into the national report. And the riding members is what, so you're all sitting here going, oh, really? Is that how many members they've got? Because that's what I'd be doing. This is the riding members equals what votes are, not adult riding members under the age of 25. Bream Bay is now One Tree Point. Thank you, because we've still got it written down as Bream Bay One Tree Point, and I always get confused about that because that happened only as I arrived. I'll make a note of that.
So Lizzie, we had a question on the chat about when a club as in branch, new soon to be new clubs, potentially, when are they too small?
Yeah.
And obviously the current constitution is 7 riding members, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not very clear. It states that it's a 15 members, of which 8 must be adults, but it's meant to be inferred that 7 must be youth under 25.
And the Act requires 10 members from memory.
Yes. We'll have to get... So, as you can see here, we don't come swooping in when you get to a low level. We start sending emails. We start trying to contact people. We start trying to go, hey, what's going on? But often when a club gets so small that the secretary's gone, the president's gone, we don't get a lot of communication. So that is where we need that help of this layer above us to go, hey, you know, we need help to figure out what's going on here. So as you can see, when we go back to this, we need to consider which clubs / branches here will not be able to continue on in the new constitution.
I've just got a question on members, or not a question, because your members now have to be 10 adults, but some of those can be your riders under 25, because I think the new Act says 16 and over. It used to be 18, yeah.
Yeah.
So that will cover some of those branches.
So currently, our members 18 years and over are considered adults and can vote and can sign the Constitution. So the 18 to 25 is kind of our older youth category. So that potentially will change. And as I said before, sorry, I haven't got the nitty gritties of all the numbers. That's Kelly and boards now and Todd's realm of expertise. I'm just playing with the numbers and bit behind and making pretty presentations for you.
Yeah, and we have talked about the age group between and the obviously the changes of the Act as well. And so while it's important on the national constitution, this is actually also going to fall out when we decide on the layer. It's going to become really important there as well, because that's where most of the voting rights for those members are going to exist as such at the new club, and let's just say the hub or intermediary type level.
Yeah. So as you can see in here, so you're currently structured, so basically Bay of Islands is a club with 2 branches. Whangarei, you've got 5 branches, and then we've got these 3 other ones that are sitting here, clubs by themselves, so operational. Do I actually have anyone from Silver Pine, or anyone know anything regarding Silver Pine? Actually, don't answer that. You can always just email me later on. But that's what we have to look at. Now, originally, when the board started this, it was like, go out and you decide how things will look. And it became very clear very quickly that a Google map, and my small knowledge of Northland, apart from I have been to Kirikiri a few times, I've been to Cape Reinga, had family that used to be in Kaikoui. I don't have the knowledge because I live 5 kilometres apparently away from Te Araha. That's closest place to me to go and get my hair cut. There's one big problem. There's a Kaimai range in between me and Te Araha. So Kelly and I decided really on that we needed to come to you and you see how it could work for you. So let's get to playing. So basically at the moment, you've got New Zealand Pony Club and then Northland. You could easily decide that your intermediate layers are going to be New Zealand Pony Club, and you actually like how Northland operates, and you'll go New Zealand Pony Club and Northland. So layer 1, it has to stay like that. You can't get rid of me, I'm sorry. You might decide that the intermediate layer stays as Northland. Or you might go, actually, let's be a little bit radical and let's classify us in, I'm being really, really creative here, Upper Northland, Mid Northland, and Lower Northland, depending on what works for you guys as a structure based on your geographical location. Or you could come up with some different scenarios. So we know that we've got some areas that said to us straight away, okay, we want to stay as we are, and we want to be our area as the intermediate layer. And we're like, okay, if that works for you, this is where the consultation comes in. And these are the discussions that I don't expect answers for tonight. But if you kept the Northland area, it's the next layer underneath. So you keep this layer, it's then what in here, particularly for Kaikoui and Pai here, and the Whangarei branches changes here. Does that kind of make sense? So that would be our intermediate layer. So probably it's like to decide then is you guys need to decide what do you do at your club layer. Do you just go, actually, we've got Bay of Islands and Kaikoui and Pai here are just part of Bay of Islands. So I'll give you a scenario. In Central Otago, let me find it. no, sorry, South Otago. South Otago used to be South Otago with Balclutha, Owaka and Clinton. 3 years ago, they became South Otago, Balclutha, Owaka and Clinton are venues. So they actually decided to take their branches and move their branches into club level, have one set of committee, a pool of instead 20 members each, 60 members, 3 sets of coaches, and they just have rallies at the different venues. Or same with whangarei, or you could go, actually, we're all going it alone, and you could all be the clubs yourself. And of course, this is not going to affect Kirikiri, One Tree Point, Monganui, because you're already alone by yourself with one layer. We've also had other clubs actually go, well, actually, I want to merge with 2 of them, and one wants to stay by themselves. Can we do that? Absolutely. So if club A, B, and D wanted to merge and become one, they could, and club C could still be by themselves. A situation like that in Wanganui, Petrie moved into Wanganui, but they wanted to keep their name. So originally it was Wanganui and Petrie. Now it's Wanganui Petrie. So
And
basically,
did one of them give up their grounds? They decided they didn't need the grounds and things anymore.
I think there's still a venue there. I'm not sure, but I know that in South Otago, where Clutha, Clinton, and Owaka, they haven't given up their grounds. Their grounds are venues of South Otago Pony Club.
It's the same in Monganui. When Kaitaia and Awanui Waipapakari merged, we've still got the grounds, separate grounds, but the Awanui Waipapakari grounds are actually on the Waipapakari Sports Complex grounds. So we use the AMP showgrounds for the majority of things, but we do have the option of having the grounds out at Waipap as well. And the sports complex got a lot of equipment for us quite a few years ago as well.
If you get a chance, I think it would be really good to put that example on this presentation, because I've never heard of that idea of having a club that has 3 venues.
We can do that. We can do that. If you don't mind seeing my screen, we can easily do that. Or we can do that, and I can do that at another time as well. But I love the idea.
No, another time. I think it's a good example.
So Monganui, you did it, and you've got the 3 venues and the 3 assets and the 3 lots,
the
but
2
only
venues.
one committee.
No, we've merged all the assets. They sort of come and go where we need them.
Yeah.
But years ago, when we were struggling, we wanted to do that when Peria was still operating. Yeah. And Kaitaia dug their heels in and wouldn't do it. Now Kaitaia is the one that struggled, and that's why we've had to merge. They had no members. So yeah.
Kaitaia, and who else was it?
It was the Kaitaia Awanui Waipapakari.
Okay, I'm just going to go there and I'll get it later.
Because Awanui was originally, we had to put Waipapakari when we went to the sports complex grounds.
Yeah, and so that are your venues of. Yeah. So I'm going to make that a different colour, because that's a venue. So they're venues of, and that's what I know that South Otago has done. They've got Balclutha, Owaka, and Clinton. And I only know that because I had a conversation the other day. They were like, oh, do we need to merge again? And I'm like, absolutely not. And they told me what they've done. And it was like, wow, you guys are actually, and same with you, Monganui, you are doing exactly what some other clubs are doing and suggesting. But also, we're not saying you have to. People could stand alone apart from one there. You could all stand alone if you want to. If you stand alone and you no longer have Bay of Islands, people all say to me, so what do we do with the Bay of Islands money? So suddenly Bay of Islands is no longer, instead of being like Monganui and the money went upwards, Kaitaia's and Awanui's money went upwards. If you had no longer had Bay of Islands, the money would be shared back down to Kaikooi and Paihia. So it's not coming to us.
Throw another spanner in the works. We actually have a 3rd venue. It's
perfect.
Judy Matthews, who's a life member of Monganui, She's got the Hanoverian stud up here.
Yeah.
She has an indoor arena. So we actually had Pony Club all year last year for the first time ever.
At
We just
Matthews
go to her
Hanoverian's.
arena and
Can I
use that.
can I move to your place? I'll move there. That's it. I'm
But what
relocating.
we've got an ex-Pony Club member who has no daughters, who is so enthusiastic, who's really got the kids going again. So it's
Yeah.
been really, really good. So we've got duties when the weather turns to crap, basically.
You're bringing up a really good point, because I often get from people saying to me, we're losing our grounds. Pony Club is not based on ownership or a secure location. You can be nomadic. You can go and be at, the farm down the road, the beach over there. I just know that in some situations where you've got a council piece of land like Kaitaia and Awanui, and that you've got a bit of geographical distance, that they like to keep it as a venue on the council papers. So it's Maunganui Pony with a venue at. So yeah, so it's the world is your oyster to decide how it looks for you, but within 2 layers. So it would, I know down over here in Whangarei, you've got 5 branches. So I can imagine some of you would want to stay potentially by yourself. Some of you potentially want to merge. So it's that discussion, and it doesn't have to be a today thing, but what we're saying, instead of looking like this, that picture here with the 5 layers, they might just be along the side. If you want to keep that Whangarei name in there, we have no issues in that. We have no issues with that merging of your names and doing what you need to do. So it's just that conversation. But then it also goes back to the slide before, do you stay as a Northland intermediate layer, or do you look at, splitting up a little bit more, or do you work effectively as a Northland area? Because remember, if you go upper Northland, mid Northland, and lower Northland, then it goes back to the one slide before. That's the administrative layer. So that would be what that layer is taking on.
I can't see that option actually working, because if you're looking at upper Northland, it's basically going to be Maunganui and nothing else. If it rains and the Mangamuka closes again, which is done twice in the last fortnight, we're basically happy to go the long way round and isolated. So
and that's why we're having these meetings, because for me, not knowing, I know Bay of Plenty really well. Kelly knows South Otago, Southland, Central Otago really well, but we don't know that. So that is why we're having these meetings, to go, what do you think would work for you? So, so Upper Northland's one club. So there we go. That's not going to really work in that situation. So you guys have to decide and go, actually, we're happy keeping the Northland as our top structure. So everything that Northland's currently got for funds stays with Northland. The administrative layer of what they need to do stays with Northland, unless you want to come up with some different scenarios, which you can completely do, and this is what the session's for. And then on that next layer, go, what does it look like here? What does it look like here? And I think it's really interesting. So I'll go to that one. That Maunganui already has done that here and moved that up. Yeah. So your discussion time.
Well, what about if we're representing the area currently? I feel Northland struggles making a team. So if we were to have an even smaller area, it could become even more of a struggle.
Yeah.
Is anything around that going to change, or?
Okay, we have promised at the last AGM, and it's happening. We're doing massive reviews on all our events. So we need to change our thinking from complete teams, because if we keep thinking complete teams, and we don't look at change, the events that we've had historically are going to die, because teams, we struggle to get teams, and we all know that. So we would love to look at the thinking that riders still ride for their areas or their regions or their sports bodies or whatever it is. So you still ride for Northland or you still ride for Bay of Plenty, but also a change of mindset for the riders who love to be in teams, but also the fact that you can actually go to these events as an individual, because actually these events have national titles attached to them. And, it's kind of the similar scenario, slightly different because we're not that level, but I'm sure, Melissa Galloway, she went to the Olympics as an individual. She didn't turn that opportunity to down. But for some of these riders, champs, eventing champs, that is their Olympics. So we are encouraging that any rider who has their NQS that wants to go to those events is supported in whatever way you support. Now, every area supports their riders differently. Some areas give financial support, some areas pay the entry, some give nothing. There is no set in stone, you must do this for your rider if they're going to an event. But we'd love to see those riders that who have got their qualifying scores, given that opportunity or that push to go and represent their area. That they're in for individual titles. I know that Northland, no one came down to eventing champs. I'm sure that individuals would have done really well. The girl who won the DC was the only rider from Waitemata Rodney, and she won the DC title. And if you said to her afterwards, are you sad that you weren't part of a team? No, she won. She doesn't mind that she was an individual and not part of a team. She could have been drafted into a team, but she wasn't, so she's happy. So I think mindset wise, we're really needing to look at our structure of events, because our events will not survive currently only being team competitions, in short.
Thank you.
I don't know what you guys think of that. It's just yeah.
That makes sense to me.
We've had individual riders go off and competed dressage on their own before.
I think I think this year round it was just a bit too far for us to do on our own.
Oh, absolutely. And it's just the same. You guys went last year to Papatoetoe, and other teams that were at the other end of the South Island, at the island, didn't. So we can completely understand that. It's just more the fact that I did get one. I do get a couple of areas come to me and go, oh, we haven't got a team. We're not sending anyone. And that's unfortunately a little bit sad, because I went to Pony Club Champs in 1987 for King Country. We didn't have a team. We had no A1s. 1987, King Country had no A1s. But I still got to go as one of the 3 DCs, and it's the highlight of my riding career. I'm looking at the photos up there. I remember every jump around that cross-country course. I remember falling off before the dressage. I remember a really bad dressage test too. I remember every moment, but that's my highlight all of those years ago, because that was my pinnacle. That's the best I ever did. And had King Country said, no, we're not sending a team, that would have been disappointing. What will be the same approach for club level teams at Timberlands Foxton? It's exactly the same at the moment. This year, nothing's going to happen to Timberlands or Foxton, because this does not come into effect until April next year. But if we're changing our structure, they will have to look I have to tell you, the South Island is completely different. The South Island only have branch events, and you guys, but you will be called clubs. So, you will have to think about if you don't have enough people from the club that you're going to, if you're going to be Kaikooi by itself, you just might have to join with your neighbours in Paihia. There's got to be flexibility around these events, and these event organisers know that, especially with Timberlands. Mandy was calling out for anyone. If you had 2 riders, she would have put them in a draft team. Last year, Tauranga was Tauranga Timberlands, 3 riders and 2 riders. So I think that whole team approach is unfortunately in our sport at threat.
But the whole reason we probably go there to compete is not at threat. You know, we go there because it's New Zealand Pony Club Championship title as such, and we do want to win that. But not only that, we want to actually meet other people. We want to, you know, have a good week away, experience. You know, we want to give it our best shot, basically.
The highlight, like this year, I went to dressage nationals because I qualified, had a great time. Didn't mean it didn't matter that I won or didn't win. So it's that experience, but I guess it depends on our why, doesn't it? Yeah. So are there any more questions on what Northland could look like? So just from hearing, you know, are we more thinking towards Northland staying with the Northland and some merging and some changing and some separating and some straight, or, you know, what are your thoughts? Would it work for you? No one's brave enough to say.
It's a really interesting concept, that we would have no whangarei admin level and would just go from our branches who become clubs into Northland. And I know that perhaps Parahaka is struggling a bit with members. They've been working really hard to build that membership up, but it might be looking at merging another club with them. And so I guess with the current screen you've got, whangarei would disappear, and then Waiatira, Kamo, Manu, Parahaka and Whakapara would become along that line. Is that correct?
That could be. That's completely up to you. So that's that line here. But you could also, 2 of you could also join and become named whangarei. One of my questions today, and I was speaking to an old expert, and she said why they thought about it last time was because what you're doing currently, what's often been happening at your branch level, is exactly the same reciprocated at the club level. And I don't know if that's true in every case, but what I do at this pony club, you know, we have the same meetings, the same organization at the next level, where it's not thinking of the next higher level. Maybe yours does, I'm not sure. But you know, so
we've got pretty good representation from our individual branches at the moment. This is just within whangarei. I can't speak for the rest. Well, where was my train of thought? So
what do you guys organise at the whangarei level? What kind of things happen in your meetings?
So that would be making sure that all the coaches are okay and looked after. And I know Jeanette's been doing a really good job this season about that. And into club competitions, and then we hold our club rep team trials. So like for Foxton, Cambridge show jumping, which is not that anymore, Timberlands, that kind of thing. But the thing that we struggle with is that the people that turn up for the whangarei meetings are mostly the same people that turn up for the Northland meetings.
And they're probably the same people that turn up for the Kamo meetings, the Manu meeting, the Parahaki meeting as well.
Yeah, but that's okay. But I do know that if we hold a Northland meeting in whangarei, all the people from right up the top, they've got a huge drive ahead of them, and it's not an easy drive. It's a big one.
Is so the talk at the Northland meeting would be the next highest level again, hopefully.
Yeah.
And do you guys always meet in person, or do you do them on Teams or Zoom when you're having your Northland meeting?
person.
Northland and Whangarei we do in person, but we have Whangarei for an hour and then we do Northland for an hour. So we're just there for like 2 hours if we're on the same committee.
And I know
I
Denise
wondered,
comes down from Monganui
Yeah.
for our meeting, and she stays at Iris's the night and comes back the next day, unless it's a day meeting. Yeah.
Let's
I wonder
ask
though,
oh,
would
sorry.
Northland get the same number of people to their meeting if we didn't hold it just before or just after Whangarei? Would we be getting the same amount of people?
Are you
Well,
asking
I
me?
can't speak for the
Yeah,
other.
well, I wasn't there
No,
last
we
year,
won't.
so I don't know.
No, we won't.
No, I didn't think so. This is why we've started doing that this year. But yeah, it does, to me, not being from Whangarei, it sometimes does feel as if we're having a Whangarei pre-meeting.
Yeah.
My
So
question. Oh, sorry. Carry on.
No, but I was going to say, for our Camo meetings, we alternate. So we, even at that branch level, we have a couple of meetings online, and then we have a meeting every 1 or 2 meetings in person because everyone's really busy.
Joanne,
Yeah.
you were with Monganui, who was merged 2 clubs to become Monganui.
Yeah.
How did you find the change then from going from 2 meetings to 1 meeting? Was it a huge change, or did you find that you were discussing the same, like it was okay just to become from a branch to a club for administration?
It was okay. It basically Monganui wasn't really doing much. We just didn't have the people on the ground to run Monganui events. And it was at that stage like Kaitai were trying to run events but didn't have the manpower. But Awanui just basically did dressage days and a few little ribbon days and things like that. And so Kaitai had no hierarchy, nobody to take on position, so we just merged.
And so it was an effective merge for you?
It has been. This last year's been really, really good. We've had lots of really, really the kids are all, that's a really great little clicky little group. They all get on really, really well. And we've got parents that are good on the ground. We just don't know anybody that will take on executive roles. We need a secretary desperately. We could do have a treasurer too. She's been there for a long time. I'm a pensioner now.
So
that's the other thing too with under the new constitution, you can't stay in your position for any length of time, can you, anymore? Do they have a time frame on presidents and secretaries and treasurers?
Currently, we don't have one in our current constitution.
But I think in the new constitution you may have to.
I don't think that's actually a part like required by the Act. One of the things, you don't actually have to have those titles either. You are required officers.
Yeah.
And so they've renamed them as titles. But I think, well, the indication is for our intermediary and our club constitution, we would probably still name the roles because it does provide a clearer function. As far as we know, there's no intent to put a cap on the number of years you can, or number of terms you can do a role for.
Another organisation I'm involved with, they have a minimum of 2 years and a maximum of 5 years in a position. So
we did discuss that right at the beginning of when at the national level, because remember this is national level at the moment, and we did discuss that for not our board, but we have these things called working groups. So we have the technical and events working group. We also have the education and development and the health and safety. And we did discuss that, and then we decided that and I think that was just with some chatter about the new constitution, but we decided to go against it because if you've got someone who is a power horse worker and you don't want to lose them, because with the power horse worker, you lose that knowledge. So we personally in those working groups didn't go for that because of that reason. And it's kind of that natural term of change anyway, where someone will go, okay, it's time for me to step aside now and move aside. And usually they don't do it until someone's ready to come up and through in those committees. I don't know about your committees, but I know when I was in Tauranga, I started at Katikati as a president. When I stepped into the DC role, I stepped out of that, but I was still there, and then same thing. So yeah, I guess you guys, someone said where to go from now. What we just need from you is, yeah, you don't need to make a decision tonight. We'd like to know if you think this would work and you would support it. You know, there is discussion about what it would look like for you, especially your Bay of Islands and your Whangarei clubs, because they have got branches. How could that work? You can go to Joanne, who's been in that position for Monganui, and I guess was One Tree Point potentially similar, because there used to be quite a few Bream Bays.
It was Waipu and One Tree Point.
Yeah.
And Waipu had no members, so they One Tree Point just kept going.
Originally we had 4 branches. We had Waiatera, Waipu, Ararua, and One Tree Point.
And so you became that, yeah. No, but it's, I think it's the way. And how did it work for you with the merge and everyone coming in?
It worked really well at that stage when we had a big membership. And the meetings were usually in different areas, so they were spread round.
I'm in a meeting, can I ring you back?
And then we did events. We didn't do many teams things because we didn't have enough time, but we didn't have enough riders suitable, but we did a lot of club events, which worked really well in those days, but we had the numbers.
Yeah. So this is, you know, this is a working in progress document for you to have a think about how it would work for you as a collective group. And back onto that time frame right at the beginning, you know, what we're asking, sorry, going all the way back, what we're asking now is, are we on the right direction of taking out that layer? You know, and then if it's voted as a yes and we carry forward on its constitution, that September is, what does that layers look like for your area? But I do know that some areas have already started having those conversations and are quite firm. They've already had little pre-conversations of where they would go and what it would look like. And I know, saying this is just with, I've been talking to a Hamilton club, but I'm just using your guys' names. But there's 3 of them that want to merge together, and they're going to become. So in that case, these 3 would become Whangarei, and these 2 are going separate. But that's just, everyone is different. So that's why we're not here saying this is what you should do, but we want you to think about it and how it would work for Northland area. As I said, consultation. This is not a final decision. So we definitely need your feedback, and you're all welcome to be part of the feedback. I think I actually put in the chat this morning. Did it not go in there? It didn't. Oh, yep. Right at the top of the chat, you're invited to take this New Zealand Pony Club member survey. So right at the chat, I have actually already put the survey link there. I wonder if I can copy it. Yeah, I can. And I'll put it in the chat at the bottom. So that is when you're ready to take, no, it didn't work. Yeah, maybe it worked now. That is when you're ready to take, to let us know how, if you're with us or if you're not. But what is your role in this? Share the information with your club, branch and area. And if you do hear anything and you go, oh, that's not quite right, please either say to them, it's not quite right, direct them to the website to listen to the webinar and this recording, or ask them to ask us, because as I said the other day, I heard that apparently New Zealand Pony Club is taking all the money and I'm going to get a new office. I'm like, wow. Apparently in Wellington too, by the way. So, but I don't actually live in Wellington. No intent to move to Wellington. None of the assets come to us. They stay in your area. Ask questions.
Will there be a hard copy of this that I can
Yep.
just because we had a meeting on Monday night and I need to feedback on that.
Yeah, I can send you all the link. I'll send it to the links that I've got on the Pony Club. Now that's the hardest thing. My emails are only as good as the database. My emails are only good as the emails I've got on file. So I will send them to the club and branch what I've got on file. If you know it's wrong, please send me an email and I'll fix it for you. Don't send it to Michelle. She's far too busy, but I'll fix them for you. So if you don't
it all comes to me anyway, so it's not a problem. It comes to me, Denise, and secretary, so we're fine.
Oh, who's that? Sorry, I didn't see who was speaking.
Everything comes to me anyway from Monganui. I get everything at least once.
Oh, perfect. I like to know. You get lots of emails from me then, sorry.
Yeah.
And we want to know, discuss it openly with your community. I am going to be at the Bay of Islands event, so I'm there to ask questions of. We are for Pony Club and we love what you do. Definitely a Pony Club mum. Oh, Linda gets my emails too. Perfect. So, if you click on this survey here, it will take you to this little page here. It's a little survey and you can just quickly go through your area, and it just asks you what you feel. We're not judging. We need your feedback, because the worst thing that could happen to us is we could get to the AGM and everyone vote no, and we've been all the way going yes, 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 and all the feedback we're getting is yes, yes, yes. So that is why we're doing this consultation phase. Also, our information, this is actually out of date, is all on the website. I'm actually going to go to the website
Lizzie,
for you.
Would it be okay to put the survey link on the website too? Because I'm trying to open it. Is that great? Yeah, because that page is really good. I'm just trying to click on it from the meeting chat and it won't open. Yeah.
I love it when people tell me that pages. We've spent a lot of time on this website.
That has been very good.
Yeah. So here we go. And the other thing is you get to come to any of these meetings. There's 15 areas. You can come to them all. And here's the survey link right here.
Right. Okay.
I'll send you the recordings, or there'll be a link. They won't all look like this. I'll just have your recording as a link. But if you've got ideas of what it could look like for you, we're here to help you. Yeah. Yep. I'll email it out, and the members anyone can complete. I don't mind who completes the survey. If 500 Northland people did it, we'd know. We'd be fine with that. Yeah. So all the information. We've worked really hard on it. If you're thinking about AGM and conference, all the AGM and conference stuff is on there too, because that's where we're going to vote. You can't proxy vote for the AGM for it, but we do have, the internet. Help me out, Kelly. Oh, my words are electronic voting. Yeah, electronic voting before the AGM. So we will send that all out with the AGM pack information on the 1st of July. But I can tell you one thing that we're trying to do with the AGM. We've kept the price lower than it was last year. We've gone to a cheaper venue, but there's definitely going to be practical workshops. Everything from the AGM. I'm an ex-school teacher. I want you to leave the AGM and conference, if you come, hopefully learning something, unless you've been here for a million years and you know everything, which is, we'd love you to come and tell us. So so that's us tonight, but we're here. If you want to ask us questions, please stay on and ask us questions. If not, thank you for your time, because yeah, it's about doing it with you.
Thank you, people. I have to go. I've just got a phone call I've got to deal to. Thank you.
I'm
Thanks,
out of here too,
everyone.
but I want to thank
Thank
you very
you.
much. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, stay on if you've got
Thank you.
questions because we can give more and more questions as well. Kelly, we'll stay and look at the slides and make sure I'm all good.
Yeah, yeah. Or will you make the venues a green colour or something?
I think so. I think that was, yeah, we'll look at those. I'll just stop recording. Hi,
Lizzie,
Joy.
I